Picture yourself close to death every day of your life, and you're fully aware that the only thing standing between you and it is a heart. Take a look.
Okay, this sounds all right. I don't know what this is.
It looks like a mystery.
Looks a little rough, though. We had chicken the last 3 days in a row, right?
What we usually do is take the chicken off the bone and put lettuce and mayonnaise and something on it.
Allan Johnson and Edward Korievo are roommates joined together by a common need, something we all take for granted, a healthy heart. Both men are on a wait list for a donor heart. Both men know without it, they will die.
That's kind of an odd feeling, really, because your life depends on somebody else's tragedy, you know. So it's difficult to say, you know. Something that you can't wish for.
Week after week, the menu never changes.
They have been waiting for a month already. The only thing keeping them alive is a special medication which they can only get in the hospital.
And they took me off of it. And I got sick in less than 10 minutes. Shortness of breath, couldn't breathe. Blood pressure had dropped down to like 60-something. You can live a healthy life after you get a heart transplant. You can go back to doing the same thing that you've been doing, you know, and you'll feel a lot better. But without it, I couldn't make it, so I have no choice.
Allan Johnson's heart is so weak he perspires just from talking. A 10-minute conversation is like running a mile.
But they said I might have got it from having a cold, a virus. I'm not sure where.
Both men have wives and young children. Both are desperate to survive. Neither knows who will get a heart and a second chance.
I don't know, I sort of made my peace. And, you know, and what will be, so, you know, I just have to, if God wants to give me an extra few years, he'll do it. If he doesn't, then, you know, what can I do about it? I could step out in traffic and get hit by a truck, so if they take Mr. Johnson out before me, you know, I'm all cheering him. I'm in his corner, believe me, and it'll be nice.
Later, a donor heart becomes available.
Big night tonight, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I'm relieved, yes. And I feel, you know, very happy, you know, getting it done and over. I can start my life all over again. Couldn't get in touch with my wife, so she couldn't be here right now, but I guess she'll be here before I go down to surgery.
Allan has to be prepared to receive his heart at Temple.
Okay, honey, I'll see you when I get back. Take care of the room till I get back.
Your hand out.
Okay, see you when I get back. My favorite nurse, she took care of me all these months. You gotta go with the show.
And then we just sit and wait until they tell us when the donor's available, what time that's going to be.
While Allan is being prepared for the transplant, his roommate stays behind.
It's always been like, I wonder who's going to go first between the two of us. And now it's over. That's sort of like a big release. I said, oh, in a way, I'm glad it's him. Although, you know, you don't see the end of the tunnel until, you know, it's your turn. Hello. Yeah. Listen, they just took your hubby downstairs for his transplant. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, he wants you to take it easy. He'll be downstairs. It'll be a couple of hours before he goes into operation. He don't want you to get all excited and run. Okay. You don't want to worry about you. Okay. She's gone already. She'll be right here.
I have the phone for you.
Yeah.
Wow. Must be great. I mean, just to tell her that must be...
Yes, I'll tell you. I think you don't keep fooling around, you know. I'll break up.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel? I mean, you're happy for your friend. You're probably, wondering when it's going to be your turn, which... Yes. What are those feelings like?
Oh, I don't know. It's sort of a flip-flop feeling, I guess. I don't know what you get really excited, you get up, you get down, you get, But I'm the type of guy, if I don't kid around, I'll lose it. And I'm afraid if I lose it, you'll never get me back.
It's a foggy spring evening, and the transplant team heading from Temple to Hershey has to go by ambulance. Normally, a helicopter is used because a donor organ can go bad if not reached in time. But with such poor visibility, there are no helicopters allowed to fly. The ice chest contains a special frozen environment, which will be used to bring the heart back to awaiting Allan Johnson.
Some heart for valves.
Just a few feet from the operating room, transplant surgeon Dr. Jeffrey Alpern gets the word. There will be no miracles tonight.
If we could have got the weather with us, would have probably gotten here and would have been probably pretty close timing when you would have gotten here. He was still probably where you would have taken him.
Yeah, we weren't here to get the heart. And even if we would have flown, it wouldn't have been questionable whether or not we would have been able to have gotten the heart or not. So at this point, it's over.
Someone's going to have to talk to the family. Just have Chuck tell the family that, you know, the organ just wasn't any good. Okay? Just put the patient back in the CCU. Thank you. Bye.
You know, they had me all set to go, and, you know, this happened, you know. But when I seen the lady answer the phone and like 1:30, and when she get a signal for them to stop, I know something was wrong then. One of us will go first, you know. And, you know, which one go first, we just wanted to be there for the other one. Which he stayed up all night waiting on the helicopter to come in and didn't show up, you know. But that's what I would do the same when, you know.
The frustration is immeasurable, the fear is unspeakable. But both Allan Johnson and Edward Korievo continue to battle and hope. In fact, Edward has discovered a talent he never knew he had.
And every day I would look outside and say, it's such a beautiful skyline here. It's unbelievable. What a view that you have here, and nobody gets a chance to look at it. So every night I would look at it and say, you know, I got to get. So I said, let me try it. I'm going to frame it, and hopefully I'd like to give it to the staff of 7 East because they've been so good to me.
Both Allan and Edward are still waiting for their heart tonight. But the important thing is they have probably the best defense mechanism, their courage and the companionship of each other. That's really what's helping them out, Joe.
Absolutely. Okay, Brian.
Brittany.
Allan Johnson is spending time at home with his first grandchild, 2-month-old Brittany. He's enjoying this new gift of life only because he was given his own second chance at life. We first met Mr. Johnson a year ago with his roommate, Edward Korievo. Allan and Edward shared far more than a room. They shared a bond, both waiting for a heart they weren't sure would come.
Okay, see you when I get back.
3 months later, Allan was told he would get his heart. He was brought down to the intensive care unit to be prepared for surgery. But the transplant team, fogged in, was not able to fly to get the available heart. They were forced to take an ambulance, and they arrived too late.
If we could have got the weather with us, would have probably gotten here and would have been probably pretty close timing.
Have Chuck tell the family that, you know, the organ just wasn't any good.
Allan Johnson remembers the disappointment.
Donor had died before they could get to the heart anyway. So the heart wasn't for me, you know. So I just was strong enough to wait till another one came in. And it was like, what, three months later?
Both Allan and Edward patiently waited. Edward rooted for his friend as much as himself.
If God wants to give me an extra few years, he'll do it. If he doesn't, then, you know, what can I do about it? I can step out in traffic and get hit by a truck, so if they take Mr. Johnson out before me, you know, I'm all cheering. I'm in his corner, believe me, and it'll be nice.
This time, a helicopter was available. Dr. Jeffrey Alpern, the transplant surgeon, was able to harvest the heart from the donor within an hour. Allan Johnson was finally getting his heart.
Someone's okay to come?
The procedure took less than 4 hours. After 7 months of waiting, Allan had a second chance at life.
The Lord was on my side a lot, I think, you know. I know he was, and I prayed a lot, and I had a lot of prayers going up for me. And, you know, it's just a blessing to be here today to talk about it.
From the first few steps to weekly visits to the hospital, the rehabilitation has not been easy. His roommate Edward never got his chance at the transplant. Allan keeps a painting as a memory that was given to him by Edward's widow.
He started painting the picture, but he never really finished it. And the only thing he's missing is
stick going in the golfer hand. I keep it and remember him and around here, and I can always look back, at this picture, something that I can remember him by.